Hello and welcome to Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we talk about book marketing, publishing, and the business of being an author. My name is Keri Barnum for New Shelves Books, and we're going to jump right in. If you are watching a replay, just know that you can join us live any Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern simply by going to newshelves.com/FAF. And so we've got some questions live here. The first one I see is, what does extended distribution with KDP mean? So if you are putting your book up on KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and you see this little box that says expanded distribution, and you're wondering what that means, all that means is that if you click this box, you are giving KDP or Amazon permission to put your book into expanded distribution with IngramSpark. So it means that KDP then will take your book files and upload it to IngramSpark under their own account, which means KDP is going to control the discounts, they're going to control the terms, and of course, they're going to take a cut. So expanded distribution can be helpful for people who have used the free KDP ISBN because it allows you to get into Ingram Wholesale, which means libraries can buy your book. Theoretically, retail stores could buy your book if you do expanded distribution, but they're not going to. And the reason why, or typically, there's always an exception to the rule, but typically they're not going to because they can see it comes from Amazon and they don't want to support Amazon. So if you are using a free KDP ISBN, it can be a great way to expand your reach with your paperback books. That means that you can get your paperback into barnesandnoble.com. It can go into the Ingram Wholesale catalog, could be ordered by libraries and so forth. But we all know, I don't have to get into it, we all know I don't recommend taking a free KDP ISBN. I recommend that you go and buy your own. If you're in the US, that means you go to balker@myidentifiers.com. If you're in Canada, that means that you actually put in a request to your government. UK goes through Nielsen. So there are different ways, and for each country, how you get your own ISBNs. But I recommend you do that. And then what you do is you take the same exact ISBN that you're using for your paperback on KDP, and you go and you upload the same book, the same ISBN, to IngramSpark. This is going to give you that expanded distribution, get you into the online retailers like barnesandnoble.com, bookshop.org, but it's also going to give you control. So you can set your discounts in the Ingram catalog and make it more appealing for retailers. It also means that Amazon's not taking a cut. So I personally recommend that. But again, if you are using a free KDP ISBN, then it's a nice feature to have, and it certainly does give you further reach. Correct. So if you've already uploaded your book, your paperback, to both KDP and IngramSpark, you cannot do expanded distribution with Amazon. It'll actually, if you try to submit it, it'll say, no, can't do it, error, because it's already been done. They're going to run your ISBN in the Ingram catalog with IngramSpark, and it's going to come back already in use. So you cannot and should not do that if you've already uploaded your book to IngramSpark. And if you own your own ISBN and you did select expanded distribution and you're going, well, I would kind of like to have control of that, I own my ISBN, you can go into KDP, you can unselect expanded distribution, you can do that, process it through, and then IngramSpark has a form where you can open your own account and then you can transfer the title from KDP and Amazon to your own account. So if you have your own ISBN, there are ways to get that title in your own control, and that's, again, what I recommend. Let's see, what is a book proposal supposed to look like? Is this just a Word document that answers all the questions, or does this need to be a fancy full color presentation? I've seen both. Well, most of the time, if you're putting in a book proposal, it's typically for a nonfiction book. And if you're doing that, each publisher or agency typically has very specific guidelines of what they expect. Some of them like to have a very fancy proposal, but some of them just want the facts. They don't want to wade through your graphics or your colors. They want it to be clean, black and white, in a Word document. So you need to go and find the agency or the publisher that you're submitting to and look at their guidelines. In most cases, I would say simple is better, unless they're specifically asking for certain things or you need graphics for your book proposal. Simple is better. Keeping basic fonts, keeping black text. These are all things that are actually going to make it more user-friendly for them to scan through and read. But you do need to check with wherever you're submitting that proposal and make sure you're following their guidelines. A lot of the guidelines are going to be similar, but some of them are going to be just a little bit different. So you may have to tweak your overall proposal for those guidelines. All right, how to tell author fans an email list about a pre-order availability of an ebook and paperback. Ebook is up on Amazon, paperback is up on Ingram. What link do I post? So the great news is you've done it right. If you are doing a pre-order of a book, I highly recommend, if you're using KDP, you go directly to KDP, you set that book up on pre-order for the Kindle, the ebook. Now, KDP does not allow pre-order of a print book, so you can't do it there. If you'd like a print pre-order, you have to go to IngramSpark. You upload your book to IngramSpark. You set the launch and the print day for whatever your actual launch day is going to be. You go through the approval process. And then when you get to the part where they say, you need to approve this book, would you like to approve it for orders from your account only or orders from your account and other retailers? You want to check that second one, from your account and other retailers. Now, that does not mean people can immediately have the book in their hand. What it means is that other retailers can begin selling the book with the pre-order date that you have set, because the pre-order date is going to be the published date. So that's what you want to do. Once you do that at IngramSpark, it will take a couple days. Give it 2 or 3 days, and especially most metadata at IngramSpark is pushed out on Fridays. I believe that's still the case. So check back on Monday if you just did it. Use the ISBN to search. When you do this, you should actually find your IngramSpark pre-order book up on Amazon. Now, it's not up on KDP, it's up through IngramSpark. They are the one pushing to Amazon for that pre-order. And what will happen is the ebook and the paperback, if you've done your metadata, should actually connect, or you can write into KDP or Author Central and ask that they connect your ebook and your paperback, which means you have one single Amazon link to send out and announce your book launch and your pre-order. The orders will go in through Amazon. KDP will just take the Kindle pre-orders, and then IngramSpark will actually take the sales of the pre-order of the paperback. So it's both on Amazon, but your Kindle is coming from KDP and your paperback for the pre-order only is going to come from IngramSpark. Then what will happen is that once you make the KDP paperback live, it's launch day, you're ready to push that publish button, because we know with KDP paperbacks, when you push the button, it goes live right away. There is no pre-order on that KDP paperback. So once you push that button, what happens is KDP's paperback will take precedence. It will go to the front of the line. That means that IngramSpark can still sell copies of your paperback as like a secondhand seller from Amazon, but your KDP paperback will actually hop to the front of the line. That's what Amazon will start selling, and you'll start seeing your paperback sales of the book in KDP after the book launches. But all your pre-order numbers are going to come from IngramSpark because that's how the pre-order is set up. So that's kind of the process of it. And I know it's a little confusing because, hey, that's what publishing tends to be. It's kind of a little confusing, but you can definitely get there. And the point as far as your announcement link, if you wait just a couple days, the paperback will start showing up on online retailers like Barnes & Noble and bookshop.org and so on and so forth. And it will also show up on Amazon. So you'll have one Amazon link for the print and the ebook pre-order. Let's see. I know you'll check Amazon constantly until it comes up. Lucky for you, it is Friday. And like I said, a lot of metadata pushes out on Fridays. So I have a book on Amazon in pre-sale. How do I find out how many signed up for my book? So Rebecca, for that, if you're looking for your ebook pre-orders from Amazon, when you're in KDP, again, Kindle Direct Publishing, you're going to go at the very top. There's the row, there's the tabs, there's bookshelf. Next to bookshelf is reports. You want to click on the reports tab. Then on the left-hand bar, about midway down, I believe, there is a button that says pre-orders. Click on that pre-orders button, and that's where you will find your pre-order numbers for your Kindle books. And it also does keep track of any past pre-orders as well, which can be fun if you're an author who has multiple books or you're doing a series, because you can see that number grow over time. It's been really fun for me working with books that have series and seeing first book maybe has like 5 pre-orders, and then book 2 maybe has 10. Now, as we're getting on to book 7 and 8, we're seeing, double, triple digits for pre-orders. And these are also authors, of course, who their books are in Kindle Unlimited. So a lot of people aren't pre-ordering it because they're going to read it in Kindle Unlimited, but it's still been fun to just track that growth over time. So you want to go to the reports tab, and then on the left-hand column, find pre-orders. Click on that button, and that's where you'll find the data you're looking for. All right, wondering about the importance of a professional press release. Will this help expanded reach? So yeah, it does. Here's the thing about a press release is if you're doing a press release, it is required for some review submissions. If you're submitting for like a Kirkus review and you're going through the traditional route, if you're submitting through some of them require sentence, some don't, like Library Journal, you email stuff in. So it can be used there, and it helps give credibility to your work. But also if you're doing a press release and you push it out with a press release company, so you're pushing it out with like EIN, I think it's EIN, press release, press cable, 24/7 press release. There's quite a few companies. When you're pushing it out there, what's happening and why this is valuable is it's being pushed out to a bunch of news companies, and some will pick it up depending on the topic. Now, I think it's important when we're doing a press launch announcement, we've got to make it newsworthy. If we just say new book's coming out, very exciting, it's not going to get picked up very far. I mean, some people may because they want news to put up on their site, they need articles, but you've got to tie it in somehow. Why is it exciting? Especially if you've got a nonfiction book. How and why is your book exciting? And then if you're putting it out with a press release agency, the value here is SEO, because then your book, your title, your ISBN, and things are getting more reach. So when people search you or search the book, they're more likely to find it in more places, which does give you reach as well as some credibility. Now, when people talk about, what's the ROI? Am I immediately going to get a rush of sales because I did a press release? No, probably not. So don't be disappointed if you don't all of a sudden see sales, because again, most people aren't going to read a news article and immediately jump over and buy the book. It's not hyperlinked to your sales page. It's not an ad. What it is it's SEO and awareness. So when people search you later, if you put out a launch press release and then you're pitching for podcasts or different things later, what will happen is that they will be able to find you more. It's social credibility. It means you're out there. It means you're marketing, or you're searchable. And that's kind of the value of a press release for most authors. And so again, I think it's valuable. Now, can you write your own press release? Bet your bottom you can. You can write your own press release. There are so many templates and things that you can do to write your own press release. I do recommend that you have someone else kind of vet it for you, look at it. But the important thing is that a press release is for news. Your book going live is not news. You have got to make your book news. Tie it into a holiday, tie it into something that's trending, tie it into something that people care about, that's newsworthy, that's exciting. And that is the mistake I see most authors make. Now, if you announce a press release of, or if you announce a launch of a book that ties into, here we go. If you announce a book that's tied into the dangers of social media for teenagers, and you can tie it into, we've just seen new studies that teen suicide, particularly in young women ages 13 to 17, has increased by 80% in the last 10 years and is directly related to social media usage. And author, whatever your name is, has recently written a book that talks about this and gives parents strategies for how they can allow their kids to enter into this particularly tough time, give them freedom, but also give them support and safety. That is a news story. That's a press release because you tied into the news and made your book news. So-and-so's got a book about social media. Well, that's not news. It's not exciting. So that's what you need to think about, is how is it news? And then also think about, when you're doing a press release, I think it is also important that you know that you might need more than one. Typically, you're going to have your national press release that could go anywhere. Then you take that national press release and you want to spin it for local newspapers or magazines or websites. Local New York author who grew up here, who went to school here, whatever it is, make a local tie and then tie your book locally. This is recently spoken at local schools or something like that. So then you can actually take that press release that's local, and rather than using a company to push it out, you simply email it or get in contact with local newspapers, magazines, people who are talking about local things on your community, blogs, whatever it is, and you push it out to them. And that I typically would offer an interview or ask for a review at the same time. So you're using the same piece, but you're twisting it to make sure that it's a better fit for local things, because a lot of magazines and newspapers and things will run something just because it's local news. So keep that in mind. Now, yeah, and Cher is saying that ChatGPT AI did really great with her press release, and sometimes that's true. I will say typically you do have to make some adjustments depending on, but you still have to have the idea of what you're doing with it. So absolutely try that out and see if it gives you a starting point. I'm really great at, if you give me something to start with, I can run with it. Book descriptions, all sorts of things. I'm like, all right, you write your sloppy copy and then I'll take it. But if you struggle with just starting, the AI and ChatGPT and things can really be helpful. And as Caroline's saying, AI is a free research assistant, free for now anyway. I know, I hate the blank page too. I can't. Well, I can, but I'm like, just give me something to start with. I may not even use anything that was started with, but give me something. All right, what discount do you recommend for KDP and IngramSpark for children's book? So the good news is that with KDP, you're not setting any discount. They are just the terms that they have. So for print books, it's 40-60 split. For your ebook, it is a 70% royalty if you're $2.99 and above, or I think 35% royalty if you're below $2.99. So there's no discount there. Now for IngramSpark, when you're setting your wholesale discount, this is the discount that you're offering to wholesalers who you're asking to buy your book. And here's the thing. And I had a chat about this with a consulting client, a publisher this week, is that when you're setting your discount, retailers want a trade discount. That's a 40% discount. But IngramSpark is your printer. Ingram Wholesale is the wholesaler. And guess what they want? They want a cut, and it's 15%. So if you want to give a retailer a 40% discount, you actually need to set your IngramSpark discount at 55%, which means that you are left with 45%. And from that 45%, you guys, you have to pay for your printing. It means that you don't earn a whole lot typically, especially with print-on-demand books. Sometimes that means that you can't sell your book at a reasonable price and offer a retail discount. Sometimes the numbers just don't add up. In that case, you have to decide if you'd like to increase the price of your book in order to offer a full retail discount, or if retail stores, if bookstores are not your main priority. Let's say schools and libraries and direct sales are your main priorities. In that case, you don't have to offer that big of a discount. You can do a 30 or 35% discount depending on which country it is. Let's say 35 for ease of use because that's good everywhere. You set a 35% discount, which means that when we are looking at retail sales like from Ingram, they're going to get about typically it's around a 20% discount. Libraries will still order there. Schools will if they really want it. So that's important to know. Who's your audience? Where are you marketing to? If you're not even marketing to bookstores, well, then do you really need to offer that big of a retail discount? Probably not. But if your hope is bookstores, if you are going to ask bookstores to carry your book, you need to have a full trade discount, which means 55% on IngramSpark. You've got to run the numbers for yourself. We call it POD math. And that's kind of how it equals out, is when we look at the math. I should actually create a video or something that has POD math, because that's what you're looking at when you're looking at it and how it works. You have to take the retail price, take the discount from the retail price, then you're left with, like I said, 45% of that retail price, but you'll also have to pay for the print cost of the book. And then that's what you're left with. So you've got to run the numbers. And as far as recommendation, we do use math, although my mom said I would never have a calculator with me everywhere. And I totally do, which is a good thing because everyone knows I don't do math. But I do think I can't just recommend a discount for IngramSpark for you, because that depends on your marketing, your goals, and your plans. But those are kind of guidelines and rules for how I would help you decide on what discount is based on what your goals are, where you're marketing, and simply can do the numbers work out? Sometimes they don't, and that changes your marketing plan. Yes, and we do over at New Shelves, we do have consulting where we work with you on press releases. Yes, it's not something we do just press releases, but we do work it with you if we're doing consulting or other marketing. Let's see. I'm working on a combination short children's story and coloring pages at the end of the text story as one book. Thought on Etsy as a PDF download to stretch distribution. Yeah, I think that you could sell it on Etsy as a PDF download. I think you would definitely want to add some copyright information and that it's not for resale. So that's one thing that you may consider, is if you're putting it up on Etsy just for PDF download, don't be surprised if it gets bought and pirated. If someone buys it, downloads it, and throws a cover on it, and it ends up being used by someone else. So it's the only thing when you're doing that, is you just have to be aware, you have to be watchful, and you definitely want to have some very explicit verbiage in your listing and on the copyright page of the book saying this is a PDF download only, it's for personal use, cannot be reproduced, and so on and so forth. So just keep that in mind. Do I have any preferred press release companies? I've used them all, and honestly, they are all very similar. I've used them all, but I've used quite a few. So like, I think it's EIN Press Wire or something like that, Cable Press, 24/7 Press Release. I've used multiples, and almost all of them, they're similar in pricing and they are all very similar in distribution as well. So any of those I think would be fine. I will say that most of the distribution companies that offer to write press releases for you, I have not been happy with a single one. You're better off going to ChatGPT or AI, getting something there and tweaking it yourself. So I would not recommend paying any additional for someone from one of those companies to write the press release for you. I personally have not been happy with those services. All right, let's. Do you just Google chat and AI? Yeah, I mean, you can just Google chat AI. You can do chat GPT. That'll certainly come up. There are a lot of AI companies that are starting to charge, like Jasper. There's so much happening in AI at the moment that you're definitely going to find something if you Google. Let's see. I got a press release from Reader's Favorite, but they do offer an even more extensive one. Would it be advisable to get this one too? My book won an award from them. I'm not sure if you're asking about more extensive writing. Like, is this for the press release or the distribution? They're two different things, and I haven't personally used their services, so I couldn't tell you if it's great or not. Just again, do your research, see, can you take that same press release and adapt it for yourself and have it come from you? I guess the value in some of that is when it's coming from a different company, it can look bigger than you putting it out yourself. So that can sometimes offer value. But again, always comes back to what are you hoping to get out of this? If you're investing in it, what are you hoping to get out of it? And do you think you'll get it from this company or from this investment? Expanded reach. So that means they would essentially put it into, I don't know, I've not used their service, but I am guessing what it means is they're going to put it into a distribution service. And again, it comes back to, could you take that press release, adapt it to come from yourself or from your own publishing company and push it out that way for the same cost and effective reach? Or is there value in just having them do it for you and having it under their name? I can't tell you that. That's something you have to decide for yourself, but those are the things I would be considering. See, keywords for pre-order. Do you recommend using a tool like Publisher Rocket or another tool? Yeah. If you are keywords in general, if you have never used Publisher Rocket, I highly recommend it. Publisher Rocket is a tool from Dave Chesson that is used to, I mean, you can research how competitive a certain genre or field is. You can research keywords for Amazon ads. You can research metadata keywords. You can research categories. Like it's an amazing research tool, and I highly recommend it. It's a one-time purchase. I've used it for years. I think we were some of the earlier adopters of it was at the time it was KDP Rocket. Now it's Publisher Rocket. So I do highly recommend it. I think it's a great tool, and that is something that I certainly use myself. So I do recommend it. I will drop a link to it in the chat. Full disclosure, it's an affiliate link. If you do use it, New Shelves does get like a thank you back on it, a thank you in monetary value. But I recommend this, whether you use my link or not. Just go to publisherrocket.com. I still recommend it. I think it's a great tool. It's a one-time pay for it. So it's not something that you're constantly paying. It's not a subscription. You pay for it one time and then you get to keep it. You can use it for multiple books. You can use it for all sorts of things. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I recommend it to everybody. And if you do like a Google search, you'll find great reviews on there. So again, I highly recommend it. You get one license that goes on one computer at a time. So just know that. But again, I love it. Obviously, I'm a fan. So yes. I know. Well, I'm not afraid to use affiliate links because, hey, I'll put it out there, but I let you guys know. I'm not trying to hide anything. But that is one way that New Shelves can support programs like Free Advice Friday, is that when I do love programs, and you guys know I'm not going to promote something I do not like. I try not to badmouth anybody, but I'm not trying to steer you in the wrong direction. But when I love something, yeah, I'm going to throw an affiliate link out there, and it helps pay for things like being able to do Free Advice Friday. I love that. Just like PBS. Exactly. All right. So answered that one. Let's see. With a $300 a month budget, where will I get the most bang for my buck among email marketers who are not BookBub? So if you're doing a discount ebook promotion, this means that you are discounting your book typically to free 99 cents or $1.99. Once you go higher than $1.99, studies show that like your interest just plummets on these discount sites. And a lot of discount sites are now only doing books that are 99 cents or lower. So just keep that in mind. But if you are wanting to run an ebook promotion, but not with BookBub, because BookBub has a huge reach. However, BookBub also is expensive. It costs hundreds to, in some cases, several $1,000s to actually use BookBub. So it's a great thing. However, it's not in everyone's budget, and BookBub can be hard to get into. They have a selection process and they don't take every book. So if you want to run your own ebook promotion, I am going to drop a blog link. It's called When BookBub Doesn't Bite. And it's essentially how to run your own ebook promotion without BookBub, with other discount newsletters. And the ones that I personally really love, I love the Fussy Librarian. Most of their listings are, it depends on if it's free or discount, but a lot of their listings, they're way under $100. Some of them as inexpensive as 25, 30 bucks. So the Fussy Librarian, if you are going to do a free book, Free Booksy, if it is a bargain book, so 99 cent or 1.99 bargain Booksy, those are both run under Written Word Media. I love them. If you have a free book, Hello Books is by Mark Dawson. I've heard great things about that one. There is Book Doggy, Book Gorilla, Book Cave. Book Cave does have like a rating system. If you have a lot of language or sex or different things like that in your book, Book Cave may not be for you. Robbins Reads is another one. And I know there are more out there. Just Kindle Books, I think, is another one. So there are certainly some great discount newsletters you can be a part of. And I typically stack them. I say, all right, let's do a 3 to 5, maybe a 7-day promo. We're going to make a longer promo. We're going to do different newsletters throughout that time. So we're going to kind of increase our sales, keep that tail running, keep the book high in the algorithms and getting sales for a couple of days, and then bring that price back up and see. Sometimes you'll get the tail. We call it the tail, essentially like all that increased movement and algorithm keeps your book on top, and getting reviews can keep the algorithm going. So you can actually see benefit from an ebook promotion. On the short side, a week. On the long side, I've seen ebook promotions have a tail, especially if it's a series or the books in Kindle Unlimited. I've seen that last for anywhere from 3 to 6 months on average. So an ebook promotion can be a great way to kind of boost your sales, get a nice bump. And if BookBub is not an option either because of budget or they're not taking your book at the moment, you have other options. Make your own promo. It can be very successful. I do these all the time, and they can be very, very successful. I had an emailed question. I want to make sure. Tamiko had asked, do you know of any agencies that also deal with subrights management for indie authors? So when we're talking about subrights, we've got the rights for your book, the basics, right? Like paperback, ebook, sometimes audiobook. But then there are subrights. Sometimes your audiobook is a subright. It could be language rights, film rights, all sorts of things. And so if you have an agent or, a literary agent, a lot of times they will also deal in subrights for you. Otherwise, you typically want to either find an agent specifically for subrights, and that means querying, just like you did or would for a book. There are some agencies that actually allow you to control and actually sell your own subrights. So you can pitch to places like Podium. I think Blackstone does audiobooks. So there's different places, but typically that means rather than having all of your subrights taken care of, like with an agent, you would be going to individual places and you yourself are selling your subrights. So it's a different ball game. Typically, it does mean that you're doing more legwork yourself unless you get an agent. I don't know of any agency or any program I would recommend where I'm like, yeah, you just go sign up, they take everybody, or you pitch them and they do everything. It tends to be more localized because people in literary agenting tend to have really great relationships in the publishing world with publishers. They may not have movie connections and TV connections, so they may not be a good fit for film rights. You may need to do that on your own or get the attention from an agent or something in film rights. Same thing with audio or different things. It just depends on the book and you, but typically you're going to be doing some more legwork yourself for those subrights or finding an agent who specializes in translations or something like that. Because as I'm sure you all have learned, when you become an author, even if you have a publisher, you have signed up to wear many hats. Aren't you lucky? Everyone always says, I thought writing was the hard part. And then I published and realized it's all the stuff that comes after it. Not that, of course, writing isn't a feat in and of itself, but it's all the stuff that comes with it. Let's see. Libraries. Yeah, share. I will email you about that. That's a different thing. All right. Since my new book came out, I've been getting inundated with emails offering to publicize it and promising it will get thousands of people. Are these ever legit? And I've said this before, and my opinion hasn't changed. If you sign up for something and you show interest and ask for someone to contact you, probably, I mean, I think you would trust them a little bit more, but anyone who's cold calling you, cold emailing you, I would personally not trust them. They probably got your name from a list. They probably bought a list, maybe from a publisher, maybe from some company, and they bought a list of people who have books out recently, and they are cold emailing or calling you. I always say, go to our good trusty Google them, Google their name with scam, Google their name with the word review, Google their name with trust, and then, look up those companies. But typically, now there are always exceptions, but typically if you didn't contact them, be wary. There are a lot of scammers out there, and so I think you just need to be careful. But that doesn't mean you can't go looking for publicity or marketing people and reach out to them. I mean, that's what New Shelves does. New Shelves does almost no marketing. I speak at conferences and I work with author groups, but almost all of our clients come from word of mouth. They found us just on the internet, or they are coming because they've signed up for our Free Advice Friday or our blog or New Shelves emails. And so they get to know us that way. And that's how we have clients. And a lot of our clients are long-term return clients. I have clients I've been working with since 2017, 2018. So just keep that in mind, is that if you didn't reach out to them, be wary. Look up their reputation and try to, if they are saying, yeah, we can do this and that, try to find a book or someone they've worked with. Look it up. Did the book really succeed? Is it still selling? Also, if it sounds too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. I talk to people all the time. I think it was last week I had someone who said, well, I talked to this company and they told me they could do this for this amount of money. And I said, okay, I can't do that. I can't. And if they can, that's amazing. Be a little wary, do your research, because if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research and be realistic. If people are promising you the moon and saying it's going to cost $19.99, it probably won't. And I think that we can do really great things in marketing and publicity, but it takes time or money or both. And so you have to know if you're willing and able to put those things in, and just be aware. Yep. Better Business Bureau is one place to look. Ally has like a watchdog list. Author Beware has a list. Authors Guild will have stuff on there. So just be aware. I think that's the best thing that you can do. And know that no one works for free. I don't work for free. If I did, I wouldn't have my house or my office. My kids wouldn't eat. So they have to get paid. And it's okay to ask them, how do you get paid? I got asked that yesterday. And I said, well, I have a consulting fee. That's how I get paid. And that is what I get paid. And what you invest otherwise, it's for your own stuff. It's for your own ads. It's for your own book cover. But I have a consulting fee or a program fee. That's how I get paid. So that's what you're paying me. And so don't be afraid to ask that either. The worst they can do is not answer you in that case. That kind of answers your question anyway. So. Does the IngramSpark library distribution replace other library distribution offers on other platforms? I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, Lynette, but IngramSpark, what they do is they get your book into Ingram Wholesale, which libraries can order from. Now, libraries order from Ingram, they order from Baker and Taylor, Overdrive, Bibliotheca. So they have a number of different places they order from. Ingram is one of them. And Ingram can put you in their catalog. You can pay them an advertising fee, which puts you in the catalog, which goes out places. I'm not sure of any specific library marketing or program that they do. Same thing for the ebook. Yeah, so if you're doing ebook distribution through IngramSpark, they do help get you into the library, where libraries buy books. I think that's really important to understand that when we're talking about distribution, whether it be KDP, IngramSpark, Baker and Taylor, if you're getting into a distribution system or in with a wholesaler, it's important to know that that means they make your book available. It does not mean, unless they say it specifically, it does not mean they're marketing your book. KDP is a way to get your book on Amazon, but KDP doesn't just market your book for you. It puts it available so people can buy it from Amazon. You still have to market it. Now they have tools, they have Amazon ads, you still have to pay for it and you still have to market it. Getting your book on IngramSpark will mean it's available from Ingram Wholesale. It means that it's available from barnesandnoble.com and bookshop.org, but it doesn't mean you're going to get sales. You still have to market the book. You have to tell people it's there. So I think there definitely needs to be some understanding that distribution and availability does not equal sales. It means that when you ask for a sale, people can actually purchase it. There's a place for them to find it. And I think that's really important to differentiate. Yeah, so if library pricing for an ebook typically is 2 or 3 times the retail pricing, because that's how it works, because it's either a licensing agreement or a cost per checkout agreement where you're actually getting paid about 1/10 of your library cost per checkout. So if you get 10 checkouts, you get your full cost. And so, yeah, they put you in the catalog. It's available to be ordered, but it doesn't mean they're marketing. Just a little bit different. Now, I did want to take some time, we're at the end of the hour, but I wanted to take some time to talk about Findaway Voices, because with Findaway Voices, we had talked about the AI, machine learning, and how even though this has been going on for some time, it just came to the attention of narrators recently, and I was encouraging you all to go to email Findaway Voices and say that you'd like to opt out of that clause. Many of you did. I saw so many emails, and I was so proud and happy to see everyone kind of banding together and supporting our narrators, and also, you know, as as publishers and indie publishers standing up for your own rights and licensing. And I am excited to say that it was reported both by Victoria over at Author Beware and also Publishers Lunch. It's now making the rounds that Findaway Voices and Apple have actually backed down a little bit. So the audiobook Findaway Voices, they have agreed to halt licensing audiobook files to Apple for AI learning. Now, they have said this, it's supposedly happening immediately. We don't have full details on that, but there was a letter that was sent out. So SAG, I'm going to say it wrong, SAG-AFTRA, which is the kind of union that supports voice narrators, did meet with Findaway Voices. And when they did that, they kind of had a sit down, which I had talked about last time, and how they had done that to actually work on pay for narrators. And they basically came to the table and were like, look, licensing a narrator's voice for AI machine learning, the publisher doesn't have the right to do that. The narrator only has the right to do that. And so they did back down. We're seeing some new updates on that. I will be excited to learn how that plays out, like how soon it happens and what happens with that. But I was very excited to see everyone in the community kind of band together. Enough emails were sent, enough ruckus was made that things changed. And I was very happy to see that. And I am excited. You know, I like Findaway Voices. I recommend them all the time. So I'm glad that they are doing different and doing better, in my opinion. And so I think that that's great things. So great job to everyone there. And I'll certainly follow that if there's any more news, but definitely great to hear that's good things in the community. I'm not against AI. Obviously, we talked about it today. I'm not against AI. I'm not against AI audiobooks or anything like that. But what I am against is contracts that kind of sneak in, taking away licensing or require licensing from someone who doesn't have the right to give it. That's really what I'm against. So yeah, I think that it's just fantastic. So you guys, great job. I think we're good for today. We will be back next Friday, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern on Fridays. If you have a question, if you want to send it in so we don't forget, just send it to info@newshelves.com and we'll get that email, or we'll have that email and answer your question on Friday. If you want to rewatch or you want to catch any replays, just go to YouTube. It's youtube.com/newshelvesbooks, and we will see you next time.